Hi Sagittarius, welcome to August. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I get to your reading, I want to just call in some good energy for this reading and create some sacred space. And I want to say thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for those who've taken the time out to leave comments. I read all of them. Thank you for taking that time. And for those who've ordered readings, thank you for your support. I hope I was a help to you, and I'm happy when I get feedback that I have been a help to you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for anyone new, welcome. So let's see what's going on with Sag. We have a new moon in Leo, and it's an eclipse, the last of this summer season of eclipses, and that's on August 11th. And since it's in Leo, it's favorable to your sign. And then we have a full moon in Pisces, which is not as favorable to your sign, but it's connected to a lot of good things, like the grand earth trine. So it should be a good full moon. In any case, this month is not going to be as intense as last month. And things are still slow because of the retrogrades of Mars and Mercury. So just chill out this month. Let's see what the cards say. Okay, what does Sagittarius need to know about love and relationships for the month of August? What does Sagittarius need to know about love and relationships for the month of August? What does Sagittarius need to know about love and relationships for the month of August? Let us see. Let's see what we have. This is the Rider-Waite deck, by the way. My original, but the one by Pamela Coleman Smith. This is my first tarot deck that I ever had. My first official tarot deck. Got it when I was 18. Okay, the King of Pentacles. The King of Wands. The Hierophant. The Ace of Wands, Queen of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the King of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands. That's interesting. I think there's more going on this month for you in terms of career than love, but there is some partnership issues coming up because you have the 2 twos. Okay, so you start out with the King of Pentacles crossed by the King of Wands. So it's possible you're trying to make a decision, maybe between 2 different people if you're in a relationship. It could also be with the King of Pentacles here, you're trying to decide about something that involves land, real estate, finances, money, investments. You might be dealing with someone who is an earth sign, and the King of Wands could be a fire sign, so it could be fire and earth. Maybe you're partnering together with someone who's an earth sign. The King of Wands, the King of Pentacles is also the card of the entrepreneur. So you might be thinking of starting your own business in some capacity. Or maybe you have some ideas of how you can take money, because the Pentacles are, you may have some money saved up or an investment or inheritance or something, and you're thinking, how can I take this money and maybe use it in a way where I could start my own business? You might be giving that some thought. And maybe you're talking to people, like an accountant. How do I set up this, So you might be getting advice from someone who deals with money, deals with business. Maybe even trying to find investors. The King of Wands, now this could represent qualities within you, since you're a fire sign. It could also represent that you're dealing with someone The King of Wands is someone who's a very good leader, and all fire signs are, all of them, Aries, Sagittarius, what's the other one? Leo. They're all good leaders, because fire signs are very direct and very outspoken. And this King of Wands is like that too. So you could be dealing with someone who's very outspoken, very honest, tells it like it is. He could be a little bit bossy at times. But he has a good heart. He likes to help people. He could be a mentor, someone who's showing you the ropes. So you might be meeting with these two people because you have some idea you want to develop. And you need their expertise and their advice. Whether one of them becomes a romantic partner, that remains to be seen. I don't know. I think right now you're focused on career and business, and you're not so much focused on love. It's like you're trying to get yourself situated in you're trying to establish some type of security for yourself. Financial security and job security. And then maybe once you do that, then you'll be focusing on partnership. Because the energies I'm feeling for this month have more to do with career path or security issues, financial security. The Hierophant. The Hierophant is in the past. So you could have been dealing with an institution that is very conservative, very strict with their rules and regulations, almost oppressive in the rules and regulations. The Hierophant is like, it represents the sign of Taurus and stubbornness. It represents, old school, old wisdom. Like the Catholic Church. It's been around for years. They're very strict. They're very rigid. They don't bend. Well, the institution, the people that you've been dealing with have been like that. So this could be a school, like a higher education, an institution of learning. It could be a hospital, an institution of, health, even government, something to do with government. These are places that have been around for eons. They're like a fixture in society. They're very stable, like a bank even. And they just have, this is our process and we don't deviate from it. There's no, mixing it up. There's no flexibility. So you might be dealing with people who have been pretty inflexible. And this could also speak to you in terms of relationship. That maybe in the past you've been a little bit too rigid or unyielding in relationship. And maybe not open to the new, or not open, too conservative, not thinking outside the box. So it can work in both ways. This could mean, the people you're dealing with have these qualities, but you might also be displaying them too. This also can mean, because you have this Ace of Wands here, so that's something that's just recently influenced you. Like there's this new beginning. A new job offer possibly, or a new project, something that's inspiring you to take action. It could be a new, because the wands are about action. The wands are about growth and business. And something that is not, like it excites you to take action. It makes you want to get up and move. So it's something that you're really enthusiastic about. And it could have to do with sharing ancient wisdom, because this is a card of, it's like the male, you have the High Priestess. This is her counterpart, the Hierophant, the High Priest. So it has to do with spirituality sometimes, where you're sharing your wisdom. So it's possible that you're wanting to start something that has some type of spiritual component, where you want to share your wisdom with the world. And maybe you're up against a conservative backdrop. So whatever you're trying to do, your ideas are not being received because you're dealing with people that are very strict and very rigid and very conservative. And they think your ideas are too radical. So you might be butting heads with some people. But in any case, you have this new job opportunity or this new beginning. It may have started in the spring. But it's kind of in a stalemate right now. Probably because of Mars and Mercury retrograde. Especially Mars retrograde. Mars has been retrograde for a while. And it's not coming out of retrograde until the end of August. And then it won't get out of its shadow until maybe December. I mean, November or December. So things are going to be just, it's not a good time to start anything or initiate anything. It's a good time to plan. It's a good time to develop a strategy, but it's not really a good time to jump in with all feet, you know, both feet into the lake. But I feel like you've got something in the works, something that's rolling around in your mind. It could be a relationship even with the Ace of Wands. But it's a relationship that's slow growing. It's not something that's catching fire. Not like one of these, you know, you meet some guy and you're hot and heavy, oh, you know, and you're madly in love. It's not like that. So you might just be having a friendship. Starts out as a friendship. And then maybe it grows later, you know, over time. Because I think this person, if you're involved with someone, they're very cautious. And if it's the King of Pentacles, if you're involved with the King of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles is very down to earth, cares very much about family, but they're kind of set in their ways. And they don't rush into things. So they like to think about things before they do them. So if you're in a relationship and you feel like it's not going anywhere, it's probably because your partner is taking things slow or wanting to take things slow. And you just have different ways of approaching things. Like you're more like get her done energy, and the Pentacle is more like, oh, we got plenty of time, what's the rush, you know? So there's a little bit of a tension there. You have the Queen of Swords coming up. This is, you could be dealing with the Queen of Swords. It could be an authority figure who is, you may feel that they're a little harsh at times and judgmental, maybe critical even, but they're very forward thinking. The Queen of Swords is always looking to the future, and she's trying to create something, but she can be a little bit of a control freak. So there's the Four of Pentacles here. That's the control freak. She's afraid to let go and just go with the flow. She's got to control every detail. So that could be you in a business situation or in a work situation, that you're either being controlling or you're dealing with someone who's a control freak. And you're wanting to pull your hair out because you know, you're trying to make changes, you're trying to offer suggestions, and this person is holding on. Nope, this is how we've always done it. This is the way I want to do it. You know, and you have to get approval for every little thing. In a relationship situation, though, the Queen of Swords can represent that you've been through a lot in your life, and you're giving, and you've learned to be more defensive when it comes to relationships. Like you have this harsh exterior, and you're afraid to be vulnerable and drop your guard and let someone in. So it's almost like you have this wall around you. And even though there might be opportunities around you for romance, you're kind of blocking it. And you're throwing yourself into your work. Because I see all this work, you know, there's work here. You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And there are these guys around you. Look at this, King of Swords, King of Pentacles, King of Wands. There are all these potential partners or potential relationships, but you might be acting like the Queen of Swords. You might be like off with their head, you know, they've got to do you might be really harsh and not, you know, giving off the vibe like, leave me alone, because the Queen of Swords is independent. I can do it. I'm independent. I don't need anyone. So if someone offers to help you, you're like, no, that's fine. I don't need anything. How are you? Oh, I'm good. You know, so you need to maybe soften up a little, and that will help, because these guys might be afraid to approach you. And lighten up the control, the need to control. This is like a card you are working towards financial security. You're wanting something, and if even in a relationship, you want to make sure that the person you get involved with is going to be there, is going to give you a sense of security. But you may be clinging too tightly, either to money, or like that money is the focus, you know, or to control. Like out of fear, you're trying to control everything. So you need to like do meditation and learn how to relax and just go with the flow. And learn how to drop your guard and be more approachable. You know, you want to put flowers outside of your garden, your front door, so not, you know, alligators. But anyway, so now you have this Two of Swords here. This is in your fear sector. So this is telling me that you could have had a falling out with someone, and you're each waiting for the other person to make a move. So you're waiting for that person to call you, they're waiting for you to call them, and nobody's calling anybody. This is a card of sitting on the fence, trying to make a decision, and not wanting to do anything. You just can't decide, and so you're just going to sit there until something shows up to make you, like a sign. You're looking for a sign. You know, okay, give me a sign. Which way should I go? I'm just going to sit here until I get a sign. The King of Swords is in your environment. So this could be someone you're dealing with. You're dealing with a bunch of, just about every sign except for the cups. I'm not seeing any cups here. So you're dealing with that. It could be a Libra, an Aquarius, a Gemini. That could be this King of Swords. He's more of the intellect. He's an intellectual. The King of Wands is the leader. And the King of Pentacles, he could be the entrepreneur, the farmer, the banker, the landowner, real estate. So maybe you're thinking about real estate, buying, selling. You know, you might be dealing with someone on that level. But there's like potentiality here for romance. I mean, you're meeting people, but you're not you're not open to romance, really. You're closed to it, I feel. So that's why this reading is showing up more as a work reading or a career reading. The King of Swords can be someone also, some type of legal problem, like you have to solve some legal issue. So it could happen if you're trying to sell something. You know, there could be documents that have to be drawn up. The King of Swords is also, could be an authority figure that you think is kind of on the harsh side or lacks compassion. But also, if you're dealing, you know, a lot of times the cards that show up here speak to how others see you. And with this card here, the King of Swords, others may see you as being harsh or being judgmental in some way, or like this is a card of like you're not showing your soft side. You're like it's like you've got the walls up, the gates closed. So with the Two of Swords and this King of Swords, I mean, yeah, you have to. I'm not saying open yourself up to anyone and everyone. I mean, because this is also the card of being discerning. You know, trying to separate what's real from what's not real. So you need to, you know, with all these opportunities out there, you have to try and figure out, okay, which is the one that's going to bring me what I really need, and let me really think about it before I drop the drawbridge, you know, before I drop my guard and I let someone get close to me. You know, let me check them out first. So this is a card of like using your head, not your heart, when you're choosing, because this is definitely a choice card, the Two of Swords, trying to decide which way to go. What do I do? Do I, you know, who do I choose? What do I choose? And you have to really think critically about your choices and try to figure out what you really need and where you need to go. Because you have this Eight of Pentacles here in your wish fulfillment sector. And that speaks to a change in career path. Like you might be contemplating taking a different direction with your career. Maybe you're tired of doing the same old, and you want to go down a different avenue of it. You know, using the skills that you've learned so far, but applying them in a different way. And so with that, you're at this beginning stage, or the apprentice. And you may not be making a lot of money along these lines yet, but you just need to stay at it until it turns around. You know, it's just the beginning. But you are concerned with security, so it's a concern. It's part of the decision making. You know, am I making enough money to follow this path? Or do I need to do something? What can I do to bring greater financial security to my life? Not only financial, but emotional. You know, what do I need to do to attract love and, you know, security? And now you have this Two of Wands here. So there's definitely, there's partnership possibilities. especially with this Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands. So something may have started, but I feel like it's just at the very beginning stages, and it hasn't developed into anything serious yet. And you're waiting here with the Two of Wands. You're waiting to see what's going to develop. You're like, okay, so I've got a couple of irons in the fire. May the best man win, or may the best situation win, whatever. You know, I'm waiting to see what's going to come of this. Where's it going to take me? So I'm not seeing like immediate results in August. It's more of a time of decision making. Because before you reach a goal, you have to know what the goal is. So you have to develop a path or a plan. You have to have a vision. You have to know what you want. So you have to sit down and say, okay, this is what I'm looking for in a love relationship. This is what I'm looking for in a career situation. Because until you define that, you have no roadmap to get there. I mean, it's like, how do you know how can you find something if you don't know what you're looking for? So the first step this month, I think, is just defining what you want. Get it down to the minutest detail. This is the type of career I want. This is the type of guy I want. He's got to have these qualities. He's got to be, you know, it's he or she, whether it's a male or female that you're looking for. This person has to be, I mean, down to the color of their eyes. You know, this color hair, this color eyes, this tall. They like to do these things for hobbies. They like to, you know, they have this type of personality. Whatever it is, write it down and visualize it. And that's how you attract it. And same thing for career. What type of job would really bring me fulfillment and satisfaction? And then when the offers start coming in, you compare it against your list of wishes, your wish list, and you could say, nope, you don't fit the mold. And yes, I'll give you a chance. You seem to be right. So let's see what's happening with the astrology. You have a new moon, which will be on August 11th, in your 9th house. So that's the house of higher education. It's the house of long distance travel. But even more than that, it's the house of broadening your scope. You know, letting the outer world in. Not being locked into your little world. Like if you've been living in a cocoon, it's time to break out and to let the world, and see the outer world. Whether that means you travel to different locations, or you go back to school and learn about different cultures or different types of spirituality. 9 could even be reaching out to global companies. But you have this opportunity with this new moon to have a new beginning in that area of your life. So it could be that you're learning something new. Maybe you're even teaching something new. Because the 9th house is teaching, learning, higher education. You could be working in a university. Maybe that's what this job is going to give you. And you have to kind of compromise with the conservative environment. You also have Jupiter, which is trine Neptune. Jupiter's in the 12th, trining Neptune in the 4th. So Neptune in the 4th, your home has been your sanctuary, and it might still be that way for a while. Well, I mean, Neptune doesn't move fast. But because Jupiter is trining Neptune, now is a good time. You're getting support, okay? When a trine is support. It's a good time to review your psyche, because the 12th house is the house of the unconscious. Everything that we throw in the basement that we don't want to deal with, you know, how we self-sabotage. They say it's the house of hidden enemies, but really your karma, it's really the stuff that you can't see about yourself. Like, you know, everybody has a blind spot, and everyone else can see our blind spot but us. You know, you look in the mirror, somebody will say, you're really stubborn. No, I'm not. You know, I mean, they could see it, but you can't, right? Well, with Jupiter in the 12th, it's really a good time to do some psychological house cleaning and get at those dark shadows and bring up those fears, bring up those blocks. Where do I self-sabotage? What am I doing that I don't realize I'm doing that everybody else can see? And the 4th house is also about, you know, home. How can I make my home my sanctuary? maybe my home could be a place of spirituality and healing. So, and you have Pluto going through, and it's also Neptune. You might have some water issues if you have a house with Neptune in the 4th house. But it could also mean a place of creativity. You know, you do something really creative. Maybe you thought that's where your muse lies. You know, you go and you write or you create art or music or whatever. But it's coming, that's our sanctuary. That's what gives you peace. So you use that to recharge and renew. The 2nd house has Pluto. And this moon is kind of, it's in conjunct Pluto. So there could be power struggles. If you get a job offer, or if you get an offer of romance in the month of August, it could be with someone who's a little bit controlling and manipulative. So you have to be careful with that. Very powerful person. So there's like a power dynamic going on, where who's going to be the power. So you have to like kind of wield that carefully. The other thing, it could be a power struggle around money, because the 2nd house is the house of money. But it's also self-esteem. Because if you're standing your ground, like you might be offered a job and it's not the money, that they don't want to give you any money. And you have to stand your ground and fight for what you want. You have to say, no, I'm worth this. This is my price and I'm worth it. And not, you know, don't let them manipulate you to accepting less than what you're worth. So that could be an issue that comes up. But you've got Jupiter and Neptune working for you. Now Jupiter's in Scorpio, Neptune's in Pisces. Jupiter's your ruling planet though. Jupiter right now is in the 12th, so it's helping you clear out the basement. Clear out your, get rid of the baggage. Because when Jupiter moves into Sagittarius, you're going to be in your glory. And especially that Jupiter's coming home to Sagittarius. It's going to be strong in Sagittarius. Jupiter's not that, I don't know how strong Jupiter is at Scorpio, because they're different energies. But in Sagittarius, Jupiter is king. And when Jupiter moves into Sag in November, you're going to be queen or king of your domain, for a whole year. So you want to prepare for that. So if there's anything that needs fixing, and that could be because the 12th house is also the house, it's opposite the 6th house of health. If there's anything that's hidden that could be causing you a problem, you have to take care of it now. Maybe not while Mars is retrograde. If you need any kind of surgery, wait till Mars goes direct and Mercury. But at least get at the find out what's hidden, and so that you know what you're dealing with. And prepare and get rid of the garbage, get rid of the baggage, get rid of old karma, anything from the past that's holding you back, so that when Jupiter hits Sag in the fall, you'll be ready to hit the ground running. And that's when your luck will really take off. Full moon in Pisces will be on August 26th. And for you, Sag, that's happening in your 4th house. 4th and 10th house. So something could be coming to fruition or completion around the end of August that involves career and home. Saturn in the 2nd house, your expenses may be rising. But Saturn in the 2nd house, so that you could get a job or have a relationship, because this 10th house is a house of career, but it's also status. So if something may be finally decided by the end of August, that could affect your status in the world, that it could affect your career. And with Saturn in the 2nd house, that can affect you different ways. Saturn is saying you need to be serious about money. You need to take responsibility. So you could have, expenses could go up, but more than that, Saturn is teaching us, do you really know where your money goes? You have to have a budget. You can't just spend without thinking. I mean, you're going to have to, you might be in a job where you have to be on top of finances. And it may feel like a burden to you. Because Saturn, it's work. You got to get into the nitty gritty. But when Saturn leaves the house, it leaves a reward. So do the hard work and eventually you'll be rewarded. But a lot of times Saturn, it's a karmic planet. So if you're having issues with self-worth or money, there could be some karma attached to it. So just sit tight in August. You definitely have some career opportunities coming up, and even the possibility for relationship. So, but if nothing happens in August, don't worry, because you're coming into your power in November, when Jupiter comes into your first house and in Sagittarius. When it comes home to Sagittarius, I think then things are really going to take off for you. So release your need for control. Drop your guard. Be a little bit more vulnerable. Use discernment so that you know what to choose and who to partner with, because there are partnership things coming up. It could be relationship partnerships, but it could also be career, business partnerships. And you want to make sure you know who you're dealing with before you sign on the dotted line. And don't sign anything in August while Mercury is retrograde and Mars is retrograde. Wait, if you can push it till September, that would be better. So that's what I have to say for August, Sag. I hope this reading was a help to you. And if you would like a private reading, one-on-one, just click on the link in the description box. It'll take you to my website, and we'll get you, and we'll be working together. We'll get you on the schedule. So in the meantime, enjoy August, and I will talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.